Characters will die in Season 2. Out of all 28 significant characters in Season 1, 11 of them are dead, 9 of them are alive, and 8 of them are unknown. And by significant characters, I mean characters with camera focus, appear multiple times, have some tangible contribution to the plot, and are named. No characters die in episodes 1 and 2. Grayson, Benzo, Clagger, Deckard, and Vander die in episode 3. Episodes 4 to 6 are clean. Marcus dies in episode 7. Sky dies in episode 8. And Finn, Soko, and Powder die in episode 9. Everyone in the council room has an unknown fate, so that entails Jace, Victor, Mel, and all the other losers. Arcane is a bloody show, and no way our character's not gonna die in Season 2 during war. Luckily, the leaks haven't spoiled the last 4 episodes of the show, and I still haven't gotten majorly spoiled yet, so here's my countdown for Arcane casualties for Season 2. Including all alive and unknown characters in Season 2, it's pretty obvious we will get some new faces. If not, we'll get new character focus. The entire Strike Force team is clearly set up to be important characters, save for the Kim Barons, and Warwick has been teased into high heaven. That leaves us with a pretty good sample size, so let's get into it. Entire irrelevant council is dying. That means Counselor Hosko, Salo, Bolbok, and Shula are going bye-bye. Jinx's rocket needs some major casualties to be seen as impactful, so these guys are all dying to make up for the others surviving. The counselors are really easy to kill, as their council seat can just be replaced with a new member of the family so that they can give us a new vengeful Warhawk council. As for the new council, I could see a couple of them dying in the big explosion at the climax, but it's too soon to say without knowing they even exist or not. So with Agent Bubblegum, Midnight, and Eagle, these guys give off major Milo and Clagger energy, so a majority of them are gonna die. It might be too obvious if all of them were to go, so maybe one of them is gonna make it out alive. Midnight screams irrelevancy, so they're getting killed 100%. Between Eagle and Bubblegum, we know Eagle plays a larger role, with him helping Caitlyn against the Super Chem tank in the trailer and also helping Vi go through her depression arc, so his death would be the most impactful. So that leaves us with Marcus Jr. staying alive. The Kim Barons are going to be the major generals for Zaun's fighting force, with their weaponry, manpower, and influence, so they will probably be battling our major Piltover characters as antagonists. These guys are really killable, as in legal lore, Kim Barons are a dime a dozen. In Arcane, we have seen Kim Barons Cross, Finn, Margot, Rennie, and Smeech. Apparently, these guys have a huge wiki page that I had no clue existed. Cross originated from Piltover, who went to Zaun because his personality fit the Undercity more and established a successful surveillance company. This dude is so old that I think killing him would be fine. Kill the elderly to pave way for the new generation, so this guy's gotta go. Margot's kind of a baddie goth e-girl, so she runs the prostitution ring in Zaun, and her flexing her power with the gas statue thing is gonna make her some enemies, so it looks like she might die too. Smeech was threatening Jinx in the trailer, so no way this guy's gonna get out alive as well. He specializes in body augmentations. I can see him do some slimy thing where out of desperation he works for Jinx and then betrays the cause to save his ass and runs away, just to get finished off by a third party hating dishonorable scumbags like him. Yes, I know he's a Yordle, which are supposedly immortal, but come on, this guy screams getting killed off, and I think Arcane is going to take Yordle immortality in a different way. Rennie vowed to kill Jace, and we know she's going to fight him in her super chem tank. Her industry is producing chem tech, which makes sense why her factory had a bunch of chem tanks, and why she has a secret experimental one. Since we see an attack on Enforcer hold with Fortnite chem tanks, it's easy to say that she's probably going to dedicate her allegiance to Ceva immediately, especially after seeing Cevica's brutality firsthand, while joining the war effort gives her a chance to kill Jace. It's super easy for Jace to kill her too, but I think it's more likely that this fight is what will wake Jace up from the true horrors of war and realize his own complicitness in the vehicle of violence. This gives us parallels to Season 1 where Jace gets a wake-up call killing her son, but I think Jace will leave her alive. Even if she threatens to try and kill him for the rest of her life, I think Jace would accept that as a consequence of his actions, but accepting his fate, which could in turn convince Rennie to move on as well. I think Huck is going to live, as Victor is seen curing him. It's possible he dies to give Victor some conflict, but if he turns into a machine at this point, I don't think that's necessary. You know, I thought there would be some other minor characters in this session, but all the other ones, Sky, Benzo, Deckard, they all died in Season 1, so, Now here's where we get into the meat and potatoes of my prediction. Major characters in Arcane are those who have gotten a significant focus, and by that I mean get a flashback. Season 1 gave us Vi, Powder, Vander, Jace, Soko, Caitlyn, Victor, Ekko, and Mel. Season 2 will most likely fill out the other main cast, being Jinx, Ceva, Heimerdinger, Singed, Bessa, and Warwick. That leaves us with 15 total characters, 3 of which have died. So a main cast of 12. Yes, I don't care that some main characters are champions. Arcane is going to treat them just like any other character, and watch this video in the info card to hear why champions don't have plot armor. Vi is not gonna die. I put out a theory that she will go to jail instead of Jinx to show forgiveness for her sister and receive her share as well. Vi going to prison is a great moment to wrap up her journey in Arcane, and this time leaving Piltover society, completing everything she wanted to accomplish, and separating from her sister willingly to bring them closer as an opposite parallel. Yeah, I don't think Jinx is gonna die. That's because forgiveness, blah blah blah, and I've talked about that before. It's super easy to kill off Jinx, and I believe Arcane's gonna try and tell a much more complex story about villain's identity and relationships through Jinx, and her staying alive is pivotal for that. Caitlyn won't die because she unfortunately has spoiler armor. She hasn't become sheriff yet and isn't going to be that in the trailer, so she can't die. Also, she serves as a good head of the enforcers after Reformation to lead a period of forgiveness to Piltover, so yeah, Caitlyn is not gonna die. Ekko lives because the Undercity needs a faction of good, such as the Firelights. I used to say that he is a great candidate as leader of the Undercity, but then again he is too young. Now that isn't a problem for Jinx because of what she represents, but for Ekko I don't know how that would go. Chem Barons are a huge dynamic within the Undercity in modern League lore, and I'd much rather see that remain at play while Ekko stays within his Firelight group. But again, Ekko is much more grown up in Arcane, and what he represents is the old way of Zaun before industrialization, so having Ekko be the new leader for the people of Zaun still bodes well. I'm just worried about world building because having the Chem Bears in check would be a lot better. You guys know how I feel about Heimerdinger. I wouldn't drop a video saying that he would die if I didn't think he would die. If it weren't for the stupid Yordo immortality, everyone would be saying that he would die. But he also is a champion, so that kind of gives him double the protection. Whatever. I hope Heimerdinger dies, and I don't care what anyone says. Jace lives because he's the leader of Piltover. Jace dying would completely destroy Piltover as a society and the themes of Next Generation. His entire character journey has been him developing into a competent leader, and stopping that in the middle would make it feel like all of his development has been for nothing, just to be taken out. So yeah, Jace lives. Victor lives because he needs to have his conflict with Jace. Yes, Victor will be consumed by the Hex Core, but we all know that if that happens, it will change him to some extent. As for the conflict between him and Jace, we want those feelings to be completely natural. So that means Victor stays alive after the explosion to butt heads with Jace. Unfortunately, the explosion is the perfect mechanism that I mentioned that would bring Victor to his ultimate demise, so I don't think Victor's going to be dying. I also think that Victor getting consumed while alive blurs the line between him and the Hex Core for the audience in a much deeper way, similar to that of Walter White and Heisenberg. Belle lives to tether and Bessa to Piltover's conflict. She still has a lot of unresolved character development with her mom, Piltover, Jace, and War, so there's a lot we need to see her to do. She also has the golden artifact thing she could use to save herself, so Mel lives. It's hard for Singed to die. In the future Noxus Ionia War, his weapons become a huge part of the invasion, so Singed has spoiler armor. On that front, it's pretty hard to kill him. And Bessa won't die because she has a conflict set up in Noxus. Killing her would void that unless the party is coming to Piltover as well. But I think the current situation is messy enough. League is also adding her as a champion this year, so it's going to be weird to add a champion after her death, and Bessa survives Season 2. So by looking over my list, I think Ceva might die. That's just because we have so many main characters surviving that some of them gotta go, and I need Ceva to make sure my multiple choice answers are not all C. Killing Ceva will let her die fighting for Silco's cause, which would wrap up her character journey, and also letting the hot-blooded flame of Zaun die as that half of the city moves on into mutual success with Piltover. Ceva also isn't a champion, so that makes it easier for her to die. Oh yeah, I forgot about Warwick. That dude is definitely dying because I don't see a functional purpose for his existence after war, and I think it's going to be too feel-good of an ending for him to get his sanity back, so killing him is a mercy and entrusting the future to the youngins. So those are what I think entail for characters coming in Season 2. For the main character section, I definitely did not record me talking about every character both dying and not dying, and using the YouTube editor feature to make it seem like I'm correct on everything when Season 2 comes out. On a separate note, I'm not counting Orianna and the hooded figure since we don't know the relevancy, and the hooded character could just be someone we already know in Season 1. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!